Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This session focuses on language and ideology. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would be able to understand the term ideology and to link it to society and sociolinguistics. Well, my dear students, at the outset of the session I would like to define the term ideology. What is an ideology? An ideology is a system of ideas and ideals, especially one which forms the basis of economic or political theory and policy. So, it's more like a collective identity of a group of people, which can be political or which can be social, and this collective identity is based on the ideas of ideals, of aspirations, of beliefs, of values that are set in a particular economic or a political setup. So, a comprehensive set of normative beliefs, conscious and unconscious ideas that an individual or a group or a society has can be termed as an ideology. When it comes to language ideology or linguistic ideology, both the terms are used. It is important to define it. It is a concept used primarily within the fields of anthropology, especially anthropological linguistics or linguistic anthropology, sociolinguistics, and cross-cultural studies to characterize any set of beliefs or of feelings about languages, any set of ideas or attitudes about a particular language. Well, my dear students, language has a crucial role in the ideological processes. Actually, language is used as a tool to create certain ideologies and to generate certain processes, that create a certain kind of ideology for a nation or for a group of people, for a society or for a state. The linking element between individuals' knowledge of the world and when it is combined with their social practices, this is what in togetherness can be called an ideology, because it mediates individuals' thoughts and their behavior. How do they act? It is very important to share Hodge, Kress and Jones 1979's perspective on that. According to them, ideologies are sets of ideas involved in the ordering of experience, making sense of the world. This order and sense is partial and particular according to them. And the system of ideas which constitute ideologies are expressed through, language. So basically, any person or a group of people would make the sense of the world around them and how does it operate on the basis of their belief system, on the basis of their ideas that they share, and this is what is their ideology. Language supplies the models and categories of thought, and in part, people's of experiences of the world is through language, because whatsoever we experience in the world, we express it through language. So, use of language is a part of that experience. So, the link between language and ideology then is very, very strong. In this context, it is important to refer to Fairclough 1989. Fairclough actually is one of the sociolinguists whose work has predominated the field in certain ways, because he made an attempt to explore this idea of language and ideology, and what he has done is he has introduced CLS, which is critical language study. And the critical language study actually takes a critical perspective on the study of language. What do I mean by critical perspective? Critical here is equal to ideological. So, but what Fairclough has done is that how individuals and groups of people and societies and states use language, to exert power, to manipulate power, etc. Critical language studies is, an exploration of all these aspects. According to Feuerin, the ideological aspect of language does not lie in the language system itself. So, the language itself, in terms of its structure, in terms of its words, in terms of the meanings of the words, for example, in its totality of the linguistic aspects, is not ideological. It is actually the use of this language that gives it, a kind of power, and that lends an ideological perspective to language. Hayakawa, 1978, has very significantly asserted that with words we influence and to an enormous extent control future events. Now, this is a big statement to make. It is for this reason that writers write, preachers preach, employers, parents and teachers scold, propagandists send out new releases, statesmen give speeches. So, this is how we control other people, we control events, we control future, etc., according to him. In fact, according to him, all of them, for various reasons, are trying to influence our conduct, sometimes for our good, sometimes maybe not for our good. Fairclough has talked about two types of power. He has talked about, coercive power and consent. He talks about coercion, where, ideologically people are treated in certain ways, and then consent. And what he says is that there are two possibilities of exerting power. Either it can be coercive or direct. When we exert power directly on a person or a group of people, or a nation or a state, it has its own dangers and disadvantages, because then it becomes exploitative. And those exploitative intentions are visible. Everybody knows why it is being exploited in that way. But when we use it in a discreet manner, when we use it in a coercive manner, wrapped up in language in certain ways, then it can be more useful for political power and for, creating those nation states, etc. So, the idea of language, ideology, power, and nations, these are the ideas that are all interrelated to each other, and they have gathered more significance over the times.